In this video, I'm going to extend the geometry we have to try and create geometry for the whole building and the rest of the environment, except the tree and the rest of the vegetation. But before I do that, I'm going to lock the match cam because we spend a bit of time trying to match it with the image we have in the background, and we don't want to lose that by accidentally rotating the camera here. So I'm going to select this camera, the match camera, by clicking on this icon, and then I'm going to shift drag down to select all of these attributes, right click, and I'm going to go lock selected. Now as you can see, these values are grayed out, which means that I can't, even if I try to rotate the camera here, it doesn't rotate. I can't track it, or I can't dolly. So all these values are locked. So now we can work safely, and I'm going to click on the geometry, right click, select edge, select this edge, and I'm going to use extrude quite a lot here. And extrude is this tool here. I've got a shortcut in my custom shelf. It is located in the polygons menu set under edit mesh at the top. So rather than going into this menu and select extrude all the time, I use this shortcut. If you want to create a shortcut like this to add to your custom shelf, you need to use Control Shift. So I'm going to demonstrate that to you. I'm going to click on Edit Mesh, and I'm pressing Control Shift, and then I'm clicking on Extrude. And as I click away, you can see it's created a new icon. I can show that to you. Control Shift, click, and now we've got two of them. Since I've got one here already, I don't need these two, so I'm going to middle click and drag them to the trash can. So middle click, drag trash can. So you can create shortcuts for your favorite tools. You can see mine for modeling. I use extrude all the time. This is what's this one? Split polygon, insert edge loop, merge. This is delete edge vertex, delete history. I'll talk to you about these in good time. But for now, I'm going to use extrude a lot, so I'm using the shortcut. This edge is selected, so I'm pressing extrude, and I'm going to work from this view. Actually, I don't need to extrude at the moment, so let me just undo that. We'll do that. We'll extrude in a moment. Now I only need to move this edge up to the corner. So let me just maximize this view to try and be as accurate as I can. Up to here. So I'm trying to line it up to this edge here. I can't really see what's going on up here. And now I need to extrude this edge back the way. So let me go to this view, and I'm going to use extrude here, and we're going to extrude in this direction. Of course, I don't know where to stop here because it ends up in, trees. So who knows where the end of this building is. I don't have any measurements, so let's assume it's here. That's all we can do. We can't do any better than that. I can also select this edge and pull it further than that until we can't see anything, so beyond the end of the photograph. And that's about that's the front wall. We could also, this is the bottom of the wall. We could bring it down a little bit. So I'm shift selecting an edge. So I'm selecting an edge and then shift selecting the next one. I'm going to bring it down to about here, which is about ground level, I guess. And then we can, what can we do? We could take care of the roof. So we can see there's a roof with a slope that goes that way. So again, we don't have that much information. We can't even see the roof. We can only see this edge. So that's all we're going to be able to use. And just like here, we don't know where it stops. It stops somewhere here. Obviously, that's the kind of area that's going to be replaced by in our set extension, so we don't need to be accurate with this because this is all going to go. At the moment, I'm just doing the best I can with the information I have to rebuild what we have here. So let me just go to this view, and I'm going to extrude this edge. So again, I'm using the extrude button, and I'm going to go back the way and up and try, see from this view, I'm trying to align it, and I think the top goes about, what's going on is this edge is actually not high enough, so I'm going to undo a couple of steps until just before the extrude. I'm going to move this up a bit. So I've selected this edge. Let's select this one as well and move this up to just above the gutter, basically to the edge of the roof. So that looks about right. Now I'm going to select this edge again and extrude, and I'm going to move back and up, and now see, this is what I'm looking at here. I'm trying to match this. And how far do I need to go? Hard to tell, so we're just going to use our best guess. Let's say that's about right. And now I'm going to extrude again the edge that I've selected. Let me show you where it is. So I've got this edge selected, and since extrude is the last tool I've used, I'm going to use the shortcut G, key G, to repeat the last action, and I'm going to be using this all the time, and so should you. So I'm hitting G, and that allows me to do an extrude. And now there's something interesting to look at, which is to do with the axis in which you're doing your extrude. So what I want to do now is I want to pull this up vertically, but you see the extrude tool is showing me some axes which I don't have a vertical axis. So a very important point here to do with the extrude tool is to do with the axis, and you have a choice between a local rotation axis and a global a set of global axes. So what's the difference and how does that work? You see this little thing here? If I click on that, now the axes that I can see are the global axes. Whatever you've got selected, you see this is always Y, Z and X are always consistent with the axes of the universe. If I click on this, I'm going to go back to the axes I had earlier, and these are local, so their directions depend on what you've got selected. So this is very, very important. Sometimes you're going to want to be in local axis mode. For example, if I wanted to pull things orthogonally from the surface that is selected, and sometimes, as it is the case here, I'm going to want to be in global mode, right? So this is what this is about. So it's very important to know how that works, and yeah, that you can switch between local and global. So here I want to be in global mode, and I'm going to go back to this view to pull this up, and that's going to be our wall. So how do I know that it is I've gone far enough along this line? How do I know that it's not a bit further? I don't know. It's just I'm using my best guess. I don't have enough information to work this out. I guess I'm going to hit 4 here to go to wireframe. Since I can't see the end of that building, I don't know whether maybe I've gone too far. So what I'm going to do here, because clearly this is going a bit too far, I'm just going to go to this view and select, let's select this edge, shift select these edges, and I'm going to move them this way. And that works. You see, I'm looking at it here, so I'm about at the edge of this building, and here it's beyond, so I can't really see anything. Okay, so I'm going to hit 5 again to go to shaded mode, and we're starting to see our set coming together. There is a gap right here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill in that gap. So I'm working with polygons here. This is the type of geometry we have. So I'm going to select the whole object. So I've right-clicked and went object mode. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a pen to polygon tool, which is what allows me to fill in some gaps or create a polygon between edges. So I'm going to click on an edge, then click on the opposite edge, and then hit enter. What else could I do? I guess I could assume that this is all in the aligned. So I'm going to go to and select these two vertices, and I'm going to press V to snap to point, and then I've aligned these 2 points with the ones above. Okay, so if I go object mode, click here, there you go, that's our building. So that's the basics of how you create some simple geometry. This is almost 10 minutes for this video, so I'm going to stop it here and we're going to continue in the next video.